In this presentation, I will be showcasing the major problems with private prisons in the United States. On this page, I've included some of the components to the multimodal presentation, like the definition, how private prisons work, the stories of private prison corporations, the intended audience, and the problems with private prisons and what we can do to solve them. Currently, the United States has the highest prison population in the world. As opposed to public prisons, which are government funded and operated, private prisons are owned by private companies. According to the Criminal Justice Program's website, privately run prisons are often less likely to report data on inmate population, staffing, or where the budget was spent. Private prisons are also not required by law to release information on how the money they received is being spent. Private prisons do, however, often receive funding from government contracts, in which the prison often earns more money the longer an inmate is incarcerated. Private prisons incarcerate approximately 8.2% of the current prison population. Unlike public prisons, private prisons are burdened with providing the building and the staffing, as well as the entirety of operations. The main goal for private prisons is obviously to make money. Included on this slide is some of the interesting information from the Investopedia website explaining how they're able to make money. As the article explains, burdens are taken off of the government and put onto the private prison organization where inmates are incarcerated in their facilities. Undoubtedly, private prisons create an environment for corruption. Now I'm going to talk about CoreCivic, which is a private prison organization in the United States. When researching and working on our third essay for this class, I came across the private prison organization CoreCivic. I've included a screenshot of their Twitter page as an example of the story that they're trying to tell. They use interesting language like helping people and community corrections. The included images showcase the positive corporate narrative that CoreCivic is trying to sell. In the image on the left, which is a screenshot from the PDF from the website, Uh, this PDF points out the positive impact that the organization has for its employees, inmates, the government, and the community. The homepage contains many pictures of employees and inmates looking thrilled to be in their facilities. It also clearly states the values, beliefs, and goals of CoreCivic, such as providing inmates with second chances, promoting corporate responsibility, giving back to the community, and their role in the current immigration system. All of these components come together to form the organizational culture of CoreCivic. Now I'm going to talk about the intended audience for the presentation. This presentation was made for the families of the incarcerated citizens in private prisons in the United States. Having a loved one who is incarcerated is extremely hard, and I sympathize with anyone going through this problem. I've chosen to appeal to this audience because I believe that these families deserve to know what is going on with their loved one, and the conditions of the private prisons should not be allowed to continue. And now we'll talk about the problem and how I believe we should solve it. Attached is a short video outlining some of the major issues with private prisons. It's an interesting video and it's definitely worth the watch. Private prisons will often try to keep people incarcerated for as long as possible to make money off of them. There are huge problems with overpopulation of the prisons, as well as the inmates being treated poorly. These inmates are also often paid pennies on the dollar compared to non-incarcerated workers for the work that they do. If these inmates are released, they are often denied employment for the very same jobs that they were being paid pennies to do inside of the prison walls. The only way to solve these problems is to abolish private prisons altogether and improve the public prison system in the United States. And that concludes my presentation.